So if you don't know who I am, my name is Reggie Reg, also known as Live to Contribute, and my co-host every Tuesday.
Lola Pearl.
Lola, what's going on? What's going on? All right. So if you haven't read the title in the headline, the title for tonight is going to be Parenthood. We're going to talk about parents and raising kids and that type of stuff. So are the kids out of control? So
Absolutely.
Look,
Absolutely.
you don't even let me finish.
Okay, go ahead and finish.
Look.
Sorry.
So the title for the show tonight is Parenthood. Are the kids out of control? Look, we need to talk about the kids. We need to talk about what's going on. So the show only works if you participate. We appreciate your comments. So make sure that you comment and make sure that you give your perspective. Perspectives are great. You know,
Yes.
I may have not thought of something how you may have thought of it. So it's good to hear everyone's perspective. So make sure you join in. That's the way that the show works. All right. So we're just going to tackle the topic tonight. Also, share us on Facebook, share us with your friends. You can swipe to the right to share it on Twitter as well. Let them know that we are on and we are back for the new year. So Lola, let's jump right in. So are the kids out of control?
Yes, they are.
So do you
They
think?
are.
So I think a lot of people are going to say that. The reason I wanted to even talk about this topic is because I don't know if you saw, you haven't been on Facebook lately,
Right.
but on Facebook there was a thing that was trending. I guess two guys went into Robert store, 87th and Loomis.
Oh, I heard about it.
Okay.
Did they end up getting shot?
Absolutely. And then they end up getting shot. And the first thing, just like when anything happens, the first thing that people naturally say are, where are their parents or the parents? So do you think the parents are responsible for how the kids are acting these days? And what do y'all think out
Yeah,
there?
sometimes they are and sometimes they're not. It is a such thing as a bad seed, you know. But I do know some parents who have these, kids that are bad and they are good parents. It's just something that happens.
Absolutely. So DC Sarita says that she asked the question, how old are they? And I think they were the age of 15 to 17.
Oh, okay.
G. Thomas says 15 to 17. But does the age matter, DC Sarita? Does it matter if they were 15 or 17? And Colin Kai says to a certain extent, it depends on how the people are actually parenting. So how do you, why is it a parenting issue is what I want to know. At 15 and 17, can the parent actually control what their kids are going out and doing at that point?
To a certain extent, they can. I believe they can. It starts from the home when they're little. It starts from then.
So J Square says something wasn't corrected while the child was young.
Yeah, it starts.
But what do you correct at that age? Because I feel like you can come from a great environment, and let's say, me and my sister come from the same environment during the show. But I think that while we may be similar, our upbringing is similar, and we have similar views with three totally different people. So how do you put it back on the parent and say, oh, it's the parent's fault?
Well, even though you all are different, you don't have a history of going to jail, being a thief, or any of those type of things. So I feel like you came from a house of good parenting.
Well, I did come from a house of good parenting, but what I'm saying is I can go out and then I could do something. Let's just say I get into trouble, whatever. Lord forbid, I get into trouble, and then something happens, and then it's widespread on the news. Do you feel like at a certain point that people are gonna put it back on my upbringing?
They would if they don't know you.
And that's what I'm saying. So at what point is the parent not responsible anymore? At what point, G. Thomas says yes. So are we being extremely hard on the parents, or?
I guess it goes back. It depends on how old the child is and their history.
Ms. KK says two people can grow up in the same household and turn out completely different. And I totally agree with that.
That bad seed. That bad seed. It's a such thing.
And a little bit earlier, Ms. KK also said that spirit of rod spoiled the child, which means that you should be giving I guess if you're Bible or biblical, it means that you should be giving your children whoopings. Do you think that
people see, I don't know. You don't always have to whoop your child. You can do other things.
G. Thomas says that they're going to always put it back on the parents no matter what age it is.
If they have a history, I would. If they have a history of, going to jail, stuff like that, I would put it on the child. If they've been doing it since they were little. I would say it is the parent.
Because J Square says, I believe in a good ass whooping, and someone else out there says, spare the rod, spoil the child. But there's a lot of people who believe that when you are whooping kids, they believe that that is promoting violence. Do you believe that? Do y'all believe that? G. Thomas says, I don't whoop my kids.
If you beat them, yeah, I mean, like, I'll get my daughter a pop in a minute. I don't think it's promoting violence. But I'm not going to whoop like I came up. We talked about this before. I came up getting hit with extension cords and belts and stuff. I don't think that was necessary.
Well, everyone said whoop the kids. Look, Angel H out there, she's saying exactly. For y'all who don't know, for the people who don't know, Angel H is my mom. So, I'm gonna use her as an example because she whooped us all the time. Look, she may not want me to say that, but she whooped us all the time. Well, she's saying exactly, so she don't care if I say it exactly. Well, my thing is that, because my mother whooped us when we didn't even deserve it.
But did you get hit with a belt or extension cords or whatever, what was inside? What did you get whooped with?
I've got hit, most of the time I've got hit with a belt. Mm-hmm. I have got hit with like an extension cord.
Whoa, see?
Before.
See?
Look, my mom said lies you tell.
Okay.
No,
I don't believe it.
Well, my two sisters are on here as well, so they'll be able to chime in. No, so they could chime in and give their own opinion. Okay. My mom did whoop us. But my thing is, look, Taria T says, stop it, Mom. Absolutely, because she did whoop us all the time. But my thing was that
you probably got in trouble because of your mouth.
Yes, absolutely. But I didn't take that from my mom, is what I'm saying. Because my dad didn't really whoop us.
Right, my father didn't either.
So I didn't take that from my mom. For the most part, I'm more so like my father. And I don't think that at this point, I don't think that I really have to whip my daughter. I was just talking to my mom about this. We went out to dinner not too long ago, and we were talking about this. She was saying, because she believes that all kids need whoopings. And kids do need whoopings. I'm not saying that, but I don't think that everything that you do has to result in a whooping for a child. Because, and Jay Square said that they do. But the reason that I'm saying that is because isn't that how we were controlled as slaves?
Yeah.
Like we were.
That's probably why I don't really believe in the whole.
I think that we believe that we have to whoop our kids because that's how slaves controlled us, and that's what's beat into us. So I'm asking.
And you know what? I felt like a slave because when I was hit with extension cords and stuff, it left whips, and that's how it was back in the day, right?
Look, J Square said slaves. Yes, I said slaves, J Square, because that is a slave mentality. How were we controlled when we didn't do something right? When we didn't do something right, what happened to us? We got whooped. Yeah. So in turn, we've taken on. Because listen to this. It is for the most part, it is black people who believe in whooping their kids, and that's because that's how we were controlled. There aren't 1 million white people, and I'm not saying that they don't whoop their kids, but there aren't 1 million white people. If you talk to them, they don't whoop their kids in the way that we do. So absolutely yes, J Squared, I'm going to challenge you and say that may just be a slave mentality. DC already said she had this talk in class today. And J Square said, and white kids don't whoop their kids.
I'm about to say, so are more white kids out of control than black kids?
LaKyle Nakai says, you ain't never been a darn slave, neither was Mama Angie, so we don't know what the slave ever felt. That's Colin Nakai saying that. But let me challenge you as well, Colin Nakai. No, I have not been a slave. But let me tell you something. Some things are learned through generations. So when a previous generation has done something and then it's been taught, then you continue the cycle. So no, I have not been a slave, and my mom wasn't a slave either. However, somewhere down the line, because my great-grandmother is still alive, and she may be believing in whoopings, and then my grandmother whooped her kids, and my mom whooped us. So yes, I do believe that it is a slave mentality. There are such things as generational curses, just like DC Sarita is saying, and there is generational things that happen down the line. So yes, I do believe that it can be a slave mentality. Hey y'all, for the people that's watching out there on Facebook, we do this show on Periscope every week. It's called Tuesday Talk. So we're broadcasting live on Periscope. You all can feel free to join in the conversation. I will answer some of the questions on Facebook as well. So if you're just now joining, we're talking about what we're talking about is parenthood, and we're talking about are the kids out of control, or is it the parents who's out of control? So J Square said, so any kind of punishment can be considered a slave mentality. I disagree with that, J Square, and the reason that I disagree with that because there are other methods that have worked and that are proven to work.
White kids pull massacres, black kids kill. Okay, for material.
Wait, what does it say?
Black kids kill for materialistic things, and white kids do massacres. So
yeah, so there's killings on both ends,
right?
But and I blame DC Sarita says that I blame the parents. So DC Sarita, let me ask you, why do you blame the parents? Because I don't always blame the parents. I do believe in what Lola says that there are some bad seeds out there because you can beat something into a kid. You can really J Square said, let's focus, people. We are focused. You can really do your best with a kid, and then sometimes kids just grow up to do what they're gonna do. Right. We have a friend, and she used to get in trouble all the time.
Oh, my
all
God.
the time. She had very great parents, and she always says that I knew that I was going to get a whooping when I went home. I knew that I was going to get in trouble, but I still did what I did. So there are kids who have taken on their own mindset, and what do you do with those kids? Angel H says kids get around the wrong crowd.
They get around that wrong crowd.
So this is what I want to know: are we doing our kids an injustice? So what is the problem? Are we having kids too young? Are young kids raising young?
It's a number of things. Yes, young kids raising young kids. We have a lot of crack babies. People on, drugs or whatever. It's like a number of reasons. People just not raising their kids right.
Well, are our neighborhoods playing a part?
No,
you have to be creative with your parenting and your discipline. Yeah. I agree. I definitely agree, DC Sarita. One thing that I think is key is communication. I joked earlier that my mom whooped us all the time. My mom did whoop us. I didn't lie on her. But one thing I'm going to say is that what my mom did great was that she talked to us all the time. Exactly. So I think that you have to talk to kids when you're talking about discipline. And the reason that I brought that up is because I always say, I don't know if I've ever said to you, but I always say to Kay, who does the show with us as well, is that one thing that my mom did right, or one thing that stands out in my mom is that at some point along the line, all the way to adulthood, she always set us down and she said, what can I do to be a better parent? What do you all need from me that I'm not doing? And for me, that said that she didn't think that she was perfect. She didn't think that she had all the right answers. She didn't think that she was the mom because she was the mom. She was doing it 100% correct. And I think that's what stood out to me, and that's where she got it right at. And what I will say, although the whoopings to her, they were beneficial, one thing that I am going to take from her, or that I am going to try to do with my daughter, is I'm going to try to communicate, what do you need from me? Right. Because she did that. Now, one thing with my mom is that if you passed on that question and you said, Mom, no, we good, you better believe that. When we brought something else up, I asked you already.
That was it.
But she did that right. Colin Nakai says that I talked to them right before whooping. I'm going to switch over, y'all. Y'all don't stop with the comments on Periscope. I'm going to switch over to Facebook, and let's see, because I got a few comments over here. Miss Lady T. Gorgeous says, I'm about to whoop my ass right now because he won't let me watch your show. Here's a great comment from someone on Facebook named Lena White. It says that we're too busy trying to be friends instead of parents. So do you believe that you can be a friend to your kids? Because my mom is on the show, and my mom have always said that she can be our friend and our parent. So do you believe that you can be both? And Lena, while you're watching on Facebook, is there something wrong with being a friend to your kids?
As far as I want my daughter to be comfortable around me, to tell me whatever she's going through, whatever problem she has. So I think on that part, that's cool to be friends. But it's certain things, you know what I'm saying? Like it's different. I don't know. It's just certain things you wouldn't do as a friend, with your kids.
So there's a lot of mixed responses coming in on Periscope. There's a lot of people saying yes. There's a lot of people saying no. They're saying that the people who are saying yes, they're saying yes, but you have to have a balance in between the two. And J Square is saying no. It's called being a mother. But J Square, let me tell you something.
I do feel like I'm glad you're not my mother.
I do feel like my mom was my friend. But let me tell you something. When Angela Hill said something, and she wasn't playing, we was very clear that she wasn't being friend, that she wasn't in friend mode. So I think that you can be a friend. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a mother. I don't know. But I think that you can be a friend.
I guess you just gotta have that switch to turn it on and off.
But we knew when she wasn't playing, is what I'm saying. But I am happy that she did say that she was a friend, because I do feel like at 32 years old, I feel like I could go talk to my mom about anything.
Right.
I literally feel like there's an open communication, because I do feel like she opened the door for us to come and be comfortable with her. So I am happy that she did that with us. But
so do you feel like the whoopings helped you?
I don't feel like I was a child who needed to be whooped. I just don't think so.
Like, I wasn't bad.
My mom.
I feel the same way. That's so funny.
I don't think that I was a child who needed to be whooped.
Me neither.
Did I?
I swear to God, I don't.
Did I have a smart mouth growing up as a child? Yes, but as an adult, I have that same smart mouth. So I can't say that my mom's whooping changed me.
Yeah.
My mom said you can be a friend, but you have to let them know how far you can go. Right. Someone else just says whoopings don't help my son. So I don't think that. I think that you have to know your kid, and you have to figure out what works for your kids. Because the reason I was telling my mom I don't whoop my daughter as much as I do, or that I don't think that I necessarily have to whoop her, because she's extremely sensitive. She doesn't try me. She's not like I was. She's a smart mouth.
Oh, she got the honest.
Yeah, she has an honest for me. She's a smart mouth, but she's an extremely sensitive child.
Okay.
So I don't think. I mean, her mom whoops her. I mean, she's on the show watching. Also, her mom, her mom's whoops her, and I'm not saying that I won't whoop her. Like I told my mom, I do think that there will come a point in time where I do, and where I will whoop my daughter, because she is a smart mouth. So I'm not, for everyone who's watching. Believe me, I'm not. I'm not telling any of y'all that I don't believe in whoopings. I'm saying that shouldn't always be first course, because I do believe that is learned behavior. I do think that is something that we are taught. I think that moms get in their emotions a lot, and I also think that that's mom's first course of action, when it shouldn't always be the case. I
just
agree.
Believe, like, communication is key. Like, have that open communication with your kids, and if that don't work, try something else. I don't know. I'm a new mom, so.
So Miss KK said, "What do you do when you did the whooping and the punishment, but it still doesn't help?" Miss KK is looking for answers. She's asking very valid questions, because and the reason that I think that question is so valid is because I think that there are parents out here that may be great parents, but their kids are still kind of out of control. So DC Sarita says you kick them out. I don't think that you just naturally resort to kicking them out.
Like you said earlier, it depends on their environment. It depends on so many different things. Like, I will try to find out, why is my child acting up? Like, is this something at school? Is it because maybe they father not around? Just, it has to be something why that child is acting out. So maybe y'all go to therapy and
Miss KK said that he has that I don't care attitude, her son, that she's talking about in particular. So Miss KK, I think that if you have a son like that, I mean, I don't know if you're in a 2-parent home. I don't know. I don't know that. But if you are not, then at some point, I think that boys in particular are looking for something from a man. Right. So if you are in a single home, then I think you have to find a male role model to him, because he may take it a little bit better for him. He may just actually be able. He has both dads around. I think that they may have to get involved a little bit more, and I don't know how involved they are. But if all of you all are involved, you're the mom, Miss KK, and then both of his dads are involved, then I think that you have to seek out something professional. That's what I think. Yeah, I think that we kind of despise, or we kind of look down upon getting professional help.
And it
but
helps.
The reason that I do this show is because I think talking is therapeutic. You may not be able to get to the bottom of it, and his dads may not be able to get to the bottom of it, but sometimes they feel comfortable with other people that they don't know. So you have to involve someone to him. He says, I've been to therapy, and he sees a psychiatrist. Well, Miss KK, I don't know how to answer. I think you're
It's
at
just
this
something.
point.
I
I
don't
literally
say
think
something.
that you just might have to pray.
Yeah, that's about the only thing. Or find out if it's something, wrong with him. I don't know.
She said she's even anointed him. An empty
Wow.
tree equals reality check. A reality check. Something has happened to cause him to withdraw. Calvin Kai says, "Seek out help. Take him to the altar. Take things away." Let me tell y'all something.
When you try to like talk to him, is he like? Did she say he was resisting? Like
Lena,
he didn't want to talk?
Lena White says, "How old is your child?" I'm just asking. Miss KK over here. Lena White says you have to start disciplining your child at an early age. So we've been talking
He's
about that,
8.
Lena White.
I think she said he's 8.
He's 8. He's 8 years old. At 8 years old, I definitely think that there's something you can get to the bottom of him. I agree with what everyone else is saying on him. He's acting out for a specific way. You have to talk down and you have to break through the barriers. If you have to take him away where it's just you and him, you have to make him feel like that he can talk to you and that he can talk to you without any repercussions. Like I said, the best thing that my mom ever did to me is that she made me feel like that we can come to her and
About
that
anything.
she was going to be understanding about it. And I'm not saying that she didn't correct us based on what we said or correct us on what we were doing. What I'm saying is that I felt comfortable with her. So you have to, if he's only 8 years old, you have to get him to the point to where
She said he don't know and he don't care. Wow.
I think that you have to drop that perception because there's something bigger,
It's
deeper.
something else that's wrong.
He's 8 years old. He if he's only 8 years old, that I don't care attitude comes from somewhere, and it has happened for a reason.
It's something wrong.
So you literally have to get to the bottom. And I know we're all on the other end of it, and we're not in your actual situation, and we're not the ones who's actually dealing with this. But I will tell you, at 8 years old, for him to have that type of attitude, something is wrong. In the sense he only acts out in school.
Well, that just says a lot. It's something at school, right? If he's only acting out at school, isn't it something going on at school? Did you talk to his teachers, talk to the principal, get more involved in school?
She said his dad is that way. So if his dad is that way, I brought up earlier that you have to have someone who's a man that's a positive role model in his life. So if his dad is that way, then you may need to seek out someone else that he will attach to because he's a little boy and little boys will attach to other men. So you find him a guy who resembles or who's doing what you want him to be and you place him in his life. And I don't know who that person may be. She said her daddy is. So you put him around that, and because that sounds like that's a stronghold over his life. People are saying that that's a curse, it's a stronghold. I do believe that he's battling something, and you're not sure what he's battling.
You got to pray that off.
That I don't care attitude and him acting out in school, he's dealing with something that you don't know about. So you can't just look at it naturally, because if you look at it naturally, you'll get frustrated and you'll get irritated, and you'll get to the point to where you are now and saying that he's just like that. No, he's not just like that. It's something wrong. It's something going on with him.
Definitely.
And you have to figure it out. And I know you may be tired. I know you may feel like you've done everything that you've had to do, but you have to continue. He feels if you're not his mother, he don't have to listen.
So why do he feel that way? Like, I don't understand, how can an 8-year-old feel that way though? Like, have you ever told him? You know what I'm saying? Like, how does he feel that way? So can't nobody else tell him nothing but his mother?
Jamina Thomas says, my
Well
son's temper comes from his father and my family had to pray. Over here, they said that on Facebook, they're saying that they do definitely think that there's something going on a little bit deeper. And she said, what's the generational curse? I stand in agreement with that.
He's reaching out for something, yeah.
All I asked, he say he don't know and don't care about nothing. He's saying that he's 8 years old. Kids say stuff all the time. Don't take him literally. He's at a point to where he feels like he may be alone. Maybe he feels at a point to where he feels like that none of y'all don't care about him. He's battling something, and you have to figure out what he battles. And that's literally the best advice that I can give you, is that you have to figure out what he's battling, and once you figure out what he's battling, you'll find a way for you to be able to attack it. Because and Jamina Thomas said,
yeah, you do. This battle is spiritual, y'all.
The battle is spiritual.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Miss KK, and she's been very open tonight, and we appreciate your candor on Miss
do.
KK. We appreciate you being honest and for you using us. And I appreciate everybody who's trying to offer her suggestions, because that's what this show is about. The show is about all of us coming together and pretty much offering a different perspective and trying to help. So I really appreciate y'all for chiming in and trying to help Miss KK. And I've given the best advice that I can give is that, you know, and I think everyone have. She go to church every Sunday. She's honorably pray. What I will ask everybody who else is watching is that you don't have to know Miss KK's son, but maybe y'all can join in, and when y'all say y'all prayers tonight, join in and y'all say a prayer for her son, because clearly she's battling something and she feels like she's at the end of knowing what all she can do. So literally, I'll mention you in my prayers tonight. You know, they say when 2 or 3 are gathered in the and when 2 or more are gathered, Jesus will be in the midst. So hopefully we can all send up a prayer and we can break a curse. So that'll be the plan for tonight, because like I said, Miss KK, I literally think that you may be at the point of at the point of no return, where you feel like you're at the point of no return. But what I will challenge you to do is to not give up. The boy is 8 years old, and I definitely think that you can have a turnaround for him. So we're talking about discipline and raising kids. How do you raise your kids to be successful? What do you do? Because we talked about whooping kids, and we talked about discipline kids, but how do you get these kids to be successful? Because they're coming from, some of these kids are acting out because they're coming from poverty-stricken areas, they're coming from hostile homes, they're coming from places where they feel like they have no other outlet but to act out. So how do you get these kids to be successful? The 2 boys, you know, on Facebook can be so messy. It can be so messy. It can be so uncaring. It can be so disheartening at times, because somebody posted those 2 boys.
Because I really don't know the whole story.
Well, somebody posted those 2 little boys, 15 and 17 years old. They posted these 2 little boys dead. They posted a picture of them literally dead, lying on the ground in their blood. And then you had so many people who were commenting under that post saying that's what they get. And you had so many other people saying they got what they deserved. And while I agree with the people on Facebook who are saying that you can't be robbing people and you can't be pretty much allowing people to come and steal from you, like that's what the result end is going to be, I don't think that we always naturally try to figure out the root cause to the issue. When we're talking about kids and we're talking about if it's the parents or if it's the kids, I think what parents need to do, I'm a parent, you're a parent, I think what parents need to do, because whoopings are not always the answer.
It's not.
And yes, we all believe that we should all pray. But what we need to do is we need to get to the root cause analysis of some situation. These kids are acting out for a reason. Something is going on, and I don't think that we always analyze the situation well. We have to be more attentive. You can see kids spiraling out of control. You have to get them before they get to that point. You have to, so while we have to understand the kids are very aware and impressionable as we are parents and know the influence. J Square, I'm going to agree with you right there. I think that we have to understand the influence that we're putting onto these kids. And what we really need to understand is that we shouldn't be bringing kids in unfavorable conditions.
I do feel like TV, like somebody said, social media, TV, all that has something to do with how our kids act as well.
It does have something to do with how our kids act.
They get the love and hip hop, you know, and all this other type of stuff. It's ridiculous.
Let me see if I can go live on Facebook again.
I agree with that.
So I think so if you're just watching, if we're stressing over trends, smoking weed, speaking grown folk talk around kids. Yes, they have too much access. So the people out here are saying that all of that counts. I do. J Square, you kind of trending, like you're trending now. Like I'm agreeing with everything that you're saying. I do think that we put our kids in front of too much. And I still also agree though with what you said. Some kids, or sometimes the kids, like it could just, And it's so sad to say that it's a bad seed because you don't ever want to say that like a kid is a bad seed. But sometimes parents did all that they can do. They've given everything that they can. They've exhausted all of their options, and the kids still spiral out of control. So what I want to know from you out there who's saying that, and like Miss KK is saying, she's saying that's her. What I want to know from you out there, because there's a lot of parents on the line, what I would like to know from the parents is that what do you say to the single mom or to the single dad who's working, who's not giving his kid to that access, but the kid may be at home raising himself, or the kid may be exposed to all of this because the parent is trying to provide for that particular kid. What do you do in those type of situations? Jamina Thomas says that you'll always have that one who keeps you on your knees. Because we're talking about solutions, because we have a parent on here who feel like, I'm sure she feels like she's a great parent. She feels like she's done everything for her son. And her son is only 8 years old. And I'm sure that she said there's 2 dads in the life, she's in the life, and she feels like she's done everything she can. What do you say to those parents? What do you say? And then, Lord forbid, her son goes and do something, she's going to get slapped in the face by social media. She's going to get slapped in the face by everyone else who's judging her and that's saying, who don't know her story. Fortunately, we're here with her and we've heard her story, but she's going to be getting judged by everyone else. The moment her son go and does one wrong thing and say that and be labeled as a bad parent, that's not always the case. So what do you say to those type of parents? Miss K says she's agreed. She's been told by strangers that he was well mannered. You have to instill a certain level of fear and respect into your kids. Somewhere or something went wrong is what J Squared is saying. So do you believe that? You have to find it out. Kids are going, let me tell y'all something. At some point of time, kids are going to do what they want to do. That's just what it's going to be. Because you can give them everything that you want to do. You've done stuff that your mom told you not to do. I've done stuff that my mom told me not to do. At some point, kids are going to be kids. So you can't always go and put it back on the parent. But I do think that when they're that young, then you do have to find a way to be pretty much to kind of like wheel them back in. Because you do have to do that. There's still a chance. J Square said there's still a chance.
It is. I believe it's still a chance.
I do believe there's still a chance for her son because he's only 8 as well.
That's what I would do. I would sneak up at the school, see what's going on. Like it sounds like it's coming from school. But she did say this was his second school, so it's like.
J Square says get real extra. Sometimes when you get real extra, that pushes the kid into more rebellion. So you have to know your kids. And J Square, it seems like her ass is discipline for everything.
It is.
And it's extreme discipline. And
I don't think that's
sometimes you can have extreme discipline. Everyone has a different type of kid, J Square.
But I feel like if you have extreme discipline, that only pushes that child away. I've known people they couldn't do anything. You know, they was just in the house. They couldn't do anything. Their parent was so strict. And they turned out to be some type of wild child.
DC Sarita says, I made my kids hot. I just gave y'all an example of somebody I know personally. When I say that her father was the strictest father that I knew, when I say he was king discipline, and she still did everything that she wanted to do. She did everything that she still wanted to do. If that's what she made up in her mind that she was going to do at school that day, it didn't matter what her father was going to do to her when she get home. So to the people like J Square, you can't just naturally say discipline, because that doesn't always work either. You have to get to the bottom of why the kid is acting up.
That made her worse because she couldn't go outside. She couldn't do anything. That made it so much worse to me.
J Square said you program them young so you don't have the issues when they are older. I don't disagree with that statement. You can program away, and at some point, people will deprogram themselves. J Square, let's talk about this. J Square also grew up Jehovah's Witness. She grew up just like one of our good friends, and that's how she believed. And I'll use us as an example too. I grew up in the church. and there's a lot of other people who grew up in the church. Now that's people will feel that is programming the right way, but at some point people will stray away from that. Even though I was raised the right way, you have people who do drugs raised in the church. You have people who are out here in gangs raised in the church. So you can't just naturally resort to raising them the right way, because like I said, J Square, there's parents out here who are raising them the right way. Actually, Janie Callan Kai, Janie Houston also raised Jehovah's Witness. And if anybody know Miss Houston, you know that she was a fool.
I use myself for an example. I feel like if my mother would have took the time to sit and talk to me, I wouldn't have done the things that I've done, made the mistakes I've made in my life. I never had that, that parent to sit down and talk to me and tell me, don't do this, you shouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Gave me that option and took the time to talk to me. I never had that. My mother ain't never talked to me.
Listen, hello,
she just
whooped
me too.
My mother talked to me. I think that's what it is. I don't think that. You know what? I run into a lot of people as an adult who says that my parents wasn't comfortable having that conversation. We didn't talk about this. And I have one parent who's like that and one parent who's not like that. If we were raised by my dad, I would be that adult, because my dad wasn't a person, wasn't the type of parent who felt that we could put everything on the table. He felt like a child. You discuss child things with us. Thank God for my mom, because then my mom also felt like that these are real life situations. Let's talk about it. And I think that's what made the three of us a little bit more well-rounded. My mom and my dad, both great parents, and I think luckily I was blessed, because I literally always say that they balanced each other, because my mom really on the extreme, like extremely like on 10, and then my dad extremely mellow. So thank God, for us in our household, that worked. I don't know if my sisters agree, but like I said, that worked for me, because I feel like, my dad who's really mellow, and then my mom who's extreme, and then for me as a parent now, I feel like I'm in the middle. I have my mom personality, but a lot of my dad parenting styles. Right. So I think that worked for me.
Did your dad whoop you?
My dad has whooped me before, but I can literally count on one hand how many times that my dad whooped me. My dad has never, like the DC Sarita said earlier, that most fathers don't whoop. And I think that's why I don't really whoop.
Because my father never whooped me.
That's why I think I don't really whoop my daughter. I think though for my dad, it was more like my dad has only hit me for being disrespectful. In my whole lifetime, it's always been only for being disrespectful. Every time he has ever touched me, I was either talking back, disrespecting an adult, or disrespecting him. And that's the only time he has ever whooped me. And those whoopings are impressionable, because my mom has whooped me a million times, but those 3 to 5 times that my dad whooped me, I remember every hit. I remember how it felt. And that's why I said they were a good balance for each other.
Sometimes she said she never got whooped by her dad, but his voice
was strong enough.
Yeah.
And DC Sarita said the voice. And that's what I was telling my mom, I don't have to whoop my daughter. You know what though? I think fathers are more direct. Like I said, my father only hit me because he felt I was being disrespectful. There was a zero tolerance for him. Most of the time, mothers will talk and talk and talk, and then they whoop.
After so long,
and that's what happened with mothers. It's because you came to a point to where you're fed up with it. Now I'm about to whoop your butt. Whereas the dad voice is more stern and scared. It puts a little bit more fear into you, and then they have more zero tolerance policies.
Right.
So I think that's the difference when you're talking about disciplined children between the moms and the dad. Is that my dad had his zero tolerance policy. I think with all of us, literally all of us probably only my dad only flips out when you're talking back.
I never got whooped by my father. Never. So.
And the crazy thing
I was a daddy's girl. So
the crazy thing is that that's how I am. This is what's so crazy. The crazy thing is that as a kid, I used to be like,
who said give me him for a week? Okay, I know that's right.
Give him my
the 8-year-old for a week.
That's what somebody just said. Give me the 8-year-old
for a week, okay? You need to take her up on her offer.
DC Sarita said your voice scares me. I'm handing out. I'm gonna hand him a Bible. That's what I said. People always say that's what my mama would say. Just come down and stay with me for a week, and she's just gonna straighten them out.
Morgan over to Miss Angie. She was acting up.
And my mom will straighten some kids out, but my mom also, like we said, we got lucky with a mom. My mom always also got lucky with some kids too, like because we wasn't really like disrespectful kids. We wasn't bad kids. So
and that comes from that good parenting.
I don't think everything comes from that.
But I don't believe in the whole.
J Square says she did that.
I don't believe in the whole whooping thing, but as you did say, she did talk to you all.
Look, J Square said, "How dare you take credit, Reggie? Let me tell you something. We were not bad kids, and no, my mom did not do it all. First of all, I had a dad in the house, so like, first of all, he gets some credit. Let me tell you what really. I'll tell you. I'm grown. I'm an adult. I can tell you what shaped me as a child. I don't need anyone to speak. I don't need anyone to speak for me. So J Square, let me tell you, since you don't believe me, my mom was a great mom. I'll never take that away from her. I'll never take her credit. My dad is a good dad. I'll never take that away from him. But let me tell you where my mom and my dad both won with us. We grew up next door to my grandma's house. We literally lived the house next door. And I tell my mom this all the time, is that the reason that I think that we turned out the way that we did is because my mom and my dad, they both had a village. And that's what we lack these days. When my mom wasn't there, and that's why I asked, what do you say to the single moms and to the single dads out there who's trying to do it out there by themselves? Where my mom and my dad won at is that when my mom was at work, guess who stepped in? My grandma. When my dad wasn't there, when my dad wasn't around, guess what role model I had? My uncles and my grandfathers. So I think what happens is that people don't have the village anymore. And then I'll even switch it to the parents and say that when you do have the village, you get too in your feelings and you don't want nobody to say nothing to your kids. That's where we go wrong at. That's what's happening now here. You gotta allow make kids stay in kids' place, and you gotta allow other adults to help you parent. You can't do it all by yourself. People don't want nobody to say nothing to their kids. We became too sensitive, and that's what the problem is that, like I said, my dad, we were balanced. My dad didn't believe that I had the right to disrespect an adult. He believed that all times I stayed in a child's place, and I'm like that as an adult as well. My mom, she gave us a little bit more leeway, so I had them two who gave me balance. But like I said, when they wasn't around, you better believe my uncle was there, my other uncle was there, and my grandmother was there, and my grandfather was there. We forgot how to be a family. And if we're going to talk about fixing these kids, we need to learn how to be a family again.
But now, like we said in the beginning of the show, we have kids raising kids, and then the grandmother ain't number 29, 30 years old.
That's
so it's like that's the grandma, and the grandma's still out partying too. So it's like you don't have that no more. You know what I'm saying? You don't have it.
And J Square said, I have a village, so maybe I shouldn't speak so much. And that's what I'm telling you, J Square. The reason that you think what you're doing is working is because you have reinforcement. And when you have reinforcement, that makes all the difference. Like I said, my mom, there was a time my mom worked 3 jobs. And yes, she instilled what she needed to instill with us, but we had a lot of freedom to go and do what we wanted to do if we wanted to be a bad kid. But like I said, when she was away, someone else stepped in. And J Square, you just said that you have reinforcement. So you got to make sure that you're not so quick to speak. Discipline does not solve everything. Like I said, my mother whooped us, and she whooped us at all costs. But there were still times where we did whatever the hell we wanted to do. And my sister's on this broadcast, and she has been a little bit more rebellious in her life than I have been. So Taria T can tell you, but my mom was great. But when you want to do something as a kid, you're going to go and do it. So it ain't all about whoopings. Like I said, you need a foundation, and when you build something on a strong foundation, even when it wavers, it won't fall apart. That's where we are losing at, is that we aren't building strong foundations. Calvin Kelly says, I was a young mother. My mom raised me, made me raise my own kids, and that helped me grow as a parent. That is absolutely correct. You know what? Because you just said young people are having kids, and then they're being raised. They're being raised by young people, and then sometimes, like Kyle and Nakai just said, her mom made her raise her own kids. We aren't always making the young people raise their kids. Then we are dependent on the grandmothers to solely raise the kids. I just said my grandmother helped my mom.
She helped. That's
Your
the
grandmother
big
should
help.
not be raising the kids, because when that happens, that's where kids tend to spiral out of control, because grandmothers have raised their kids already. They're tired.
They're tired.
They don't have enough energy to raise your kids again. They have done their job. Their job is support at this point. They don't need to do it all over again.
Exactly.
All right, so we're talking about a lot of issues tonight.
Yes.
J Square said, I have nieces and nephews that are bad as hell with their mother. They don't play that with me. I do believe, J Square, that you do have to set a tone. I agree with that. But what I'm saying is that kids will still be kids. And that's the point that I don't think that you understand. Kids will always still be kids. And there are great parents out here. And I get a little upset when everybody just naturally go and blame the parents. There are some parents who need coaching. There are some parents who need parenting skills. There are some parents who need parenting classes. There are some parents who need to find a parent mentor. Like, if you are a young parent, then you should attach on to a parent mentor who's raised successful kids.
Because some people, they really don't know how to raise kids, and they have kids, but they only doing what they've been taught.
Absolutely.
They probably didn't get that love, from their mother. So it's just like a generational thing, as we talked about earlier.
Miss KK said, if you know me, you know I'm hard on my boards and I'm a good mother. Miss KK, I do believe you. I feel like you wouldn't be on here trying to get answers from us if you wasn't a good parent. You don't know us. We're strangers to you. So I don't even think you would be soliciting our advice if you were not a good parent. What I will tell you though, Miss KK, is what someone else just said on that, and this is my personal opinion. You can do whatever you. Oh, look, I don't know who it is. I do know you're ready. Well, I don't know who that is because of the name. What I will tell you, Miss KK, is that don't, what someone else just said, stop speaking. I got you Popeyes today. Oh, okay, gotcha.
He's so slow, sorry.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. What I will tell you, though, Miss KK, and we've talked about this online because now I do know who you are. What I will tell you, Miss KK, is that now I can speak a little bit more to this because now I totally understand what the situation is.
Oh, okay.
What I will tell you, Miss KK, is don't speak negativity over him. My grandma, this is something my great grandma always said. My mom and them would say, my mom would say in front of my great grandma, that kid, ooh, they so bad. And my great grandma would always correct her right in her tracks. Or my uncles and them would say that, ooh, they so bad. And she would correct them right in that point. And this is wisdom. This is my great grandmother. My great grandmother who's still alive. She's not, I think 94 years old. And she'll still say this today. That baby's not bad. Don't call that baby bad. And the reason that she says don't call that baby bad is because when you speak things like that, and I'm talking to you, Miss KK, you're speaking things into existence. You go to church, you speak stuff into existence. There are no bad kids. Now, he may be managed, he may need some guidance, but he isn't bad. You don't speak that over his life. Because when you speak things over their life, all they do is manifest. There's power, and believe it, there's power in your words. So you have to start speaking what you want him to be over his life. If you have to, someone said that sounds like my great grandmother. You don't call a child bad, you don't call him dumb. So Ms. KK, I'm going to speak to you directly because, like I said, I know who you are now. He's not bad, but his behavior is out of control. Exactly. But when you get up, because now I can speak to who you are and I can speak to your kid. When you get up, your prayer probably needs to change. You need to make a declaration over your son's life. My child is going to be this. My child will be this. He's not going to be bad when he go to school. Change your prayer is probably what you need to do. Because sometimes you can pray the same prayer and you don't need to pray the same prayer. God heard you the first time. So speak something over your son's life. Speak a word over his life. And when he leaves, like I said, now because I know who you are, like it makes so much more sense. When he's leaving in the morning, you make sure that you say that prayer with him, and you sit him down. And I do know that you talk to him, and I do know that his fathers are in his life, and your dad is. But your dad is a little bit older, and he does have a father and a stepfather in his life. I agree with that. But put someone in his life that you want him to role model after, because I don't know if he has that. So that's what you need to do. You find a positive male role model and you attach him to him. And like I said, we have to be a family, and you have to make sure that you have a mentor for him. What we lack and what we don't always have and what we can't always find is a mentor. He's 8 years old. You can change that boy's life. Yeah. That what he is right now, what he's being in school, and I know that he's bad, and I know that you struggle with him, and I know that you are a great mother. Absolutely, I absolutely know that. I know that you go to the world and to the end for your kids. So I do know that you're a great mother. What you need to do, though, what I really, really believe that you need to do, though, is attach him to someone that you want him to be. And like I said, his behavior is bad at school. He's not like that at home. You have to make sure that what you're showing him, because you're a big personality as well. Don't show him because he attaches on. He's a very smart little boy. He attaches on to certain things. So he thinks that he don't have to listen to his mother. Make sure you're careful about what you speak in front of him, because we've had certain conversations, and it's been clear that, you know what, you're talking to the one that you're talking to the one now,
okay.
KK. Yeah, because I know who she is. I know who she is now, so I can talk to her personally, because before I was trying to speak in general about what I think that she needed to do, but because I know her personally I do know. Yeah. Miss KK, all will be well. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Calvin. All is gonna be well with her, because her son isn't bad. Her son just needs some coaching and some guidance. And you're a great mother, but you can't do it all by yourself. So stop trying to do it all by yourself. Exactly. And I think I've told you this before.
I think that might be the thing. She's trying to do it.
You can't do it all by yourself. Yeah. And that's what is going wrong with. And then you get frustrated because you feel like you're doing everything that you know in your power to do, which I believe that you are doing everything in your power. But one thing that you have to do, like I said, is he needs a positive male role model. You just don't know what that do for a guy. And what I'll challenge you as is, because you're a big personality, make sure you don't show him certain parts of you. Because he is who he is and he has a behavior issue, when you show him certain parts of you, he think that he can be that way as well. You have to make sure that certain things you have to cut off from him, because he doesn't need to see certain things, like certain things as an adult, because she's a really big personality. So naturally, like us, we're big personalities, and when you're in front of kids, they absorb everything. Exactly. So when I see mom being like this, when I see mom checking an adult, when I see mom putting people in their place, when I see mom feeling like that and ain't nobody gonna run over me, that's exactly what he's gonna take on as a kid. He's gonna go to school and say, my mom is like this, my mom has this personality, so I don't have to do this because my mom wouldn't let anybody do that to her. Who you talking to? Because that's what his mom would say. So make sure you don't show him that side of you, because what happens is that what I told you, what I'm gonna tell you, Miss KK, is that I just said, as my personal mom, who's on this show right now, she was the type who allowed me to check in an adult. So I felt like I would check an adult. Because she felt like adults shouldn't jump out of their place. And I agree with my mom as a kid that adults shouldn't jump out of their place. But as a father, as a man, as a grown man right now, and
but that's it's a confliction. You know what I'm saying?
It's a confliction as a grown man, because that's what he's taking. That's what he's taking on, because his mom is like that and my mom was like that. So, I took on that exact same personality that her son has, and the reason that I took on that personality is because my mom was like that. But what I will tell you, as a grown man and as an adult and as a parent, and I love my mom to death, I agree with what my father used to say.
Yeah,
I agree with him. A child has to stay in a child place, and even if you feel your child was right, you go fight that battle for your child on your own. He has no place disrespecting adults, and you need to impart that into him. He has to make sure, you have to make sure that you don't show him everything. Like I said, I had to balance there. Your son's father don't live with you, and neither does his stepfather. I took on, luckily, thank God, I took on the personality of my father in that aspect. Okay. Because you cannot, because I saw my mom, and my mom wasn't no joke. She didn't play no games. Okay. You didn't run over her. You didn't disrespect her. And if whatever was on her mind, she had to say that, and I admired that about my mom. I thought that was great, and he could be doing the exact same thing. I know that's you, Miss KK. That's why I'm talking to you, because I know my mom, and I know you. I took on the exact personality of what my mom was, because I felt like, oh my God, like that's great. Like she ain't gonna let nobody run over her. And although I still have some part of me as an adult, I don't let my daughter see that part of me. And the reason I don't let that daughter see that part of me is because that's not something that she should be taking on as a child. He's adopting your personality.
A child should stay as a child.
And that's what it has to be. He's adopting your personality because that's what you're showing him. That boy is not bad. His behavior is the way that it is in school because that's the behavior that he sees at home. And you have to make sure you don't show him that anymore. Because once you stop showing him that, and then you combine that with the talking, and you combine that with the rest of your village, it'll start to sink in. That's what I said. And it took me years. It literally took, Miss KK, it literally took me years to get that. Because at his age, I'm telling you, you could not tell me nothing. I was attacking every adult. If the teacher said something I didn't like, you better believe.
I was in class.
She knows me. She knows me. You bet to believe that I took on that personality. And I took on that personality because that's what my mom imparted into me.
Right.
And I adopted that, and I liked it. Because
Yeah,
the reason that I liked it is because my mom was like that, and I admired my mom, and her boys admire her.
Wow.
So I didn't feel like I was doing any wrong at all because that's who my mom was. But the difference between me and my mom is that my mom was an adult and I was a kid doing it. My mom had a right to do it because she's a grown adult doing it to other adults.
But you didn't have
had no right to do it. And so, and that's what it is. I literally can tell you from experience, Miss KK, that's what it is. That's what he's adopting your personality. So that's the reason why he's only bad when he's away from you. It's because he's taking on what you think or what you're teaching him and letting him know that he can be. And he can be that, but he can't be it as a kid, and he can't be it as a little boy. So make sure you nip that in the bud right now.
That's what he's only 8.
It makes so much so. I'm so glad that it finally clicked for who you are, and that I can talk to you personally.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad. So literally start right there, Miss KK. That's what you need to do. Start right there.
From this point on, make a change.
Start changing what you show him, and then you sit him down and let him know. You know what? Mama's like this. Mama's a dope. I know you've seen this from me in the past, but we need to change that. And if we need to work on it together, we can work on it together because you don't have the right to do that. And once you start there, he'll start to understand it. He definitely will start to get it. Literally,
that was good.
Because literally, her son is me. I know who it is.
I'm proud of you, friend. That was good.
And I know why he's like that because she's a young mama.
Oh.
She's extremely independent.
Okay.
She's a great mom. She's extremely like pretty much like you're not gonna run over me type of person. She's an extra personality. She is what my mom was.
Wow.
Like so I definitely know.
Look at God.
I definitely know. Look, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. What I tell you, when two or more are gathered in his name, Jesus will be in the midst. Okay. What did I tell you? And that's what happened. People then send up prayers for you, and people then literally pray while we're watching this Periscope. And I don't never want to turn this into a church service because it ain't a church scope. It ain't a church service. But literally, you probably just got your answer tonight. If this is something you've been praying about, you said you didn't pray and you didn't took that boy to the altar and you didn't anointed him. You literally probably just got your answer tonight. Yeah. And you don't watch this show every night, so you bet to believe that it was by divine appointment that you saw this show tonight. So you take whatever you need to take from him. You didn't got some great advice from everybody that was watching. And now that I knew it was you, I done gave you everything that I had to give you, and I hope we helped you in some type of way. Y'all, that's the show. That's the show. We done went way over tonight. Really deep. And like I said, thank all of y'all who joined in. Thank all of y'all who chimed in and tried to help Miss KK out. Like I said, great mother. I'm really happy for y'all. Sorry we went a little bit longer than usual. But thanks, Ma. I love you too. And sorry, Ma. Thanks for being a good sport.
You didn't tell me you love me.
Thanks for being a good sport, Ma, and for allowing me to use you. For all y'all who don't know, But my mom watches the show, but like I said, nothing that I said about my mom is anything negative about my mom. I love my mom, love my mom to death, and I think she is outstanding. Like, so nothing that I said was negative about my mom.
Thank y'all for tuning
But
in.
I only use you as an example because, like I said, I know her, and I literally know that it's what she needed to hear. It's just literally what she needed to hear. So, y'all, we do this every week. Lola, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Periscope, of course, and that's about it.
So if you're looking for me, just like always, my name is Live to Contribute, Reggie Red. You can find me on Instagram, Periscope, Facebook. You can find me wherever, all under the name Live to Contribute. Just like always, y'all. Make sure you build someone up instead of tear them down. And that's the motto for this show. I'm really
Name, she said name, say it again.
Live to contribute.
The number 2.
The number 2, live to contribute. I'm really happy. I always say that at the end of every show.
You can look me up under Lola Pearl.
Lola Pearl. I'm always happy at the end of every show. I literally always say build someone up instead of tear them down. Tonight, I think that we actually lived that. I think that everyone chimed in and gave their honest opinion for Miss KK. I don't think they badgered her. I really think that they tried to help her. No judging. That's what this show is all about. I really appreciate y'all for watching. I literally appreciate it. Thank y'all. And I appreciate y'all. Talk to y'all later.
See y'all later. See y'all next Tuesday.